In this video, I will be giving some predictions for the 2026 Oscars a year in advance. This is the first year I've tried to predict this far out. I normally start making my official predictions in November, but I'm putting myself out there early. I will start with a couple of special movies I want to highlight I think will be missing out, and then I will move into my official top 10 predictions at the end of the video. When doing these predictions, there are two routes a person can take. You can aim for as high of a percentage as possible, making bigger risks, or you can shoot for a lower, like a 5 or 6 out of 10. I'm going for the whole thing. I don't think both big musical biopics will be in, so I'm not splitting the difference and playing it safe by picking two of them. I'm putting one of them in, and the other one isn't gonna be there. For a little bit of a warm-up, I'll be going through my predictions for Best Animated Feature. Flow winning opened up this category a decent bit. It is clear the Academy has gone more international with this one, treating it with more respect. I could be jumping the gun in terms of how this category has changed, and it being more international opposed to the big animation studios it normally is, but this is my current gut feeling. Flow winning says something about how this category is viewed. My current winner pick is The Magnificent Life of Marcel Pangol. The director has been nominated in this category twice before, and this has that more artsy, unique feeling I'm looking for to predict this one. My second pick is Laika's Wildwood. This company has a good track record in the category, and I see no reason why this one wouldn't get a nom. It looks gorgeous. Third is good old reliable Pixar with Elio. You have to predict at least one of the big studios to get something in this category. It hasn't gone that international to where it won't be there at all. DreamWorks has nothing. The Bad Guy 2 stands no chance, the first one didn't get in. On top of that, sequels that aren't Toy Stories don't do well in this category. So I don't feel comfortable predicting Zootopia 2 either, and that pretty much just leaves Elio with the big studios. Fourth is a very interesting movie. I'm talking about Ne Zha 2. This movie has already made $2 billion, and it looks amazing. It's the 5th highest grossing movie ever, and I just think that's undeniable at a certain point. I can't bet against the movie that made that much money, even if it was mostly overseas and in China. I think it has to have some impact on the Academy Awards. Rounding out the category, I have Cartoon Saloon's Julian, another studio with a great track record in the category, having only missed My Father's Dragon out of its releases. This is stylized enough that I believe as long as it's good, it will slot in here. Now onto some movies I think won't make Best Picture, but I want to talk about. First off, the movie I'm most excited for, Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. The Oscar prospects look not great to say the least. The Academy hates this franchise. Dead Reckoning was the first movie to get a nom, and that was their 7th movie. I do think this will take home a couple of crafts. Sound and editing noms are a lock, but I don't think this will be a serious above-the-line player. Tom Cruise will get a Golden Globes nom, I am predicting that, and several other precursors, but I do not think he's going to have the momentum to get the nom at the Oscars. A lot of people are predicting After the Hunt by Luca Guadagnino. I will not be tricked by him again. Challengers, Bones and All, and Queer have all crumbled recently. The next Luca movie to break through will have to be his best one yet, and I don't see that happening with After the Hunt. I've got 2 movies I'm predicting will walk home with lead acting noms but not the Best Picture nomination. First off, Eleanor the Great with June Squibb. Her career narrative is strong and will pick up momentum, similar to Demi's Moore, but not as strong as hers. I don't think she'll walk away with the win, but after last year, I see the Academy wanting to recognize an older actress like June Squibb. I also believe Dwayne Johnson will be nominated for The Smashing Machine. First off, this movie feels very close to Best Picture. I'm not pulling the trigger because it's hard to predict both of the Safdie brothers movies to get in. This is a biopic, so the Academy could eat it up, and the narrative is easy here. The highest paid actor, action hero, former wrestler, has taken a serious turn. He starts to prove himself to be a prestige actor instead of just the wrestler and action hero. And people in Hollywood like The Rock. He respects all of Hollywood. His speech when he presented the Animated Feature Award a couple years ago shows as much. Dwayne is in a renaissance right now, both in wrestling and in Hollywood. He is stepping outside of his comfort zone and leading the next Scorsese movie. I have full faith in this one. As wrestling fans know, his ego is massive. The Rock needs to prove he is a better actor than Batista. It would eat him up inside if Dave got the nomination before him, so Dwayne is going to do everything in his power to get it. F1 is not happening. Top Gun Maverick didn't blow up because of Joseph Kosinski, but Tom Cruise. And Brad Pitt does not drive box office like Tom. There is potential for a couple of techs. The material list is getting goose-egged, unfortunately. Celine Song has followed up Past Lives with this movie that has relatively mixed reviews. You don't get back-to-back on your first two by making a worse version of your first movie, and the material list will not be as good as Past Lives. I have zero faith in Spike Lee adapting High to Low. It's one of the most beloved movies ever. You don't need to remake the classics. And Spike Lee's track records with remakes is bad. Kelly Reichardt will not fool me. If you are predicting The Mastermind, you are throwing away one of your slots. The Academy won't do it. It's going to be too slow of a movie for them. One of my bolder predictions this year is not putting Michael in my Best Picture 10. The movie is going to make at least $1.5 billion. The cult of Michael Jackson is strong, and the Academy loves biopics. But I just have this gut feeling both the musical biopics will not make it. I have no reason for that. It's not a logical prediction, so I probably shouldn't go with it. But comparing the two, Michael has more going against it. This one is going to be less artsy to start. The other movie feels closer to Elvis and a complete unknown. On top of that, Michael Jackson is a problematic figure, to say the least. That will not stop the movie from making a ton of money or being enjoyed, but it's a slight mark against it. When it comes down to this or the other movie, I have to look at these little things. Michael is my least confident exclusion, probably my number 11 in terms of predicting. I think no other choice has a real shot. Park Chan-wook has a solid legacy, but I'm not predicting this because it doesn't feel like it will undeniably be his best, which needs to be the case if I'm predicting a foreign director breaking into Best Picture like this. The final movie I'm predicting to miss is The Life of Chuck. If you are playing it safe, this is in your top 10. It won the People's Choice at TIFF this past year, but I just don't believe in it personally. Two main reasons. The first is there doesn't seem to be a consensus above the line nom for this movie. Reactions haven't rallied behind one person, not the director or leads. At best, people have been defaulting to Mark Hamill and supporting, which feels thin. I cannot back a movie based on a screenplay nom and a year-and-a-half-old TIFF win. It's possible to sneak in there with just screenplay and picture, but I think you have to be close to other categories to pull that off. Second, Neon is releasing this in June, showing they have little faith. Just 2 months later, and I'd believe it. But to me, this shows a lack of expectations for this chances at award show. I have more faith in another Neon movie, or them picking something else up. This movie will be Sing Sing, released too early in the year, gets some traction, but never enough to gain momentum that matters. Now I'm going to start my official Best Picture predictions from 10 to 1. 1 is what I'm predicting to win at the current moment. In my dreams, I get 8 out of 10. But a realistic goal is 5 of these movies being nominated for Best Picture. 10 is Del Toro's upcoming Frankenstein. This is going to be a tech giant. All Del Toro movies are. Nosferatu, a monster movie, just got 4 below-the-line noms this past year. I see no reason that this movie will perform worse than that one. Everyone in Hollywood loves this dude. I think it might struggle a little bit above the line, but will be carried by Del Toro being around the director race. It's so low because I have more faith in a different Netflix movie, and I feel the Academy might be bored by the Frankenstein story. It has been told many times before. 9. Avatar: Fire and Ash. I watched the first one and didn't like it, so I never bothered with the second, but I have to take that bias out of it. This will be making a metric ton of money while the voting is going on, and the past 2 have been nommed, but I don't think all 5 of these movies are getting Best Picture nominations. There are already diminishing returns from the first to the second, so my dilemma is, do I take this off or do I take the next one off? I think there is a little juice left in the tank, and this will take home a couple noms, while the next one will fall short from Best Picture. 8. Sentimental value. It is guaranteed that we will get a foreign movie every year. It's a fact, and it's likely that we will get 2 based on recent trends. This is the most obvious one. Worst Person in the World was close. This has the potential to be Joe Mitch Schreier's Redemption. I'm a little hesitant to predict it on those merits. It's shaky to put a retroactive award in, but the movie seems good from what we know. I went with the comfortable choice here. You could take some big swings on foreign movies, but they're just that. You're batting and hoping you hit, and I don't feel comfortable enough with any of the other options to put anything else in here. 7. Deliver Me Nowhere. This is the musical biopic I was comparing Michael to. Jeremy Allen White feels poised to get a Best Actor nom. This deviates from the typical pattern and focuses on the making of a singular album, making it seem more unique, and that can fuel it to get in. 6. Borgonia, directed by Yorgos Lanthimos. Yorgos' movies feel a little bit like a crapshoot. Kinds of Kindness was nowhere near awards, but Poor Things was second to Oppenheimer. I do have some facts to look at here. Kinds of Kindness was anthology. That will hurt its chances at the Oscars. And this movie is a remake of another one, so we can look at that to get a vibe. Save the Green Planet looks like the perfect mix of weirdness and social commentary for Yorgos to sink his teeth into and make brilliance. I have not seen the movie, just basing this off of plot and reviews. Yorgos is a golden boy of the Academy. Emma Stone is loved. There aren't many red flags here other than Kinds of Kindness, and that can be explained, leading me to predicting this one. 5. The Rivals of Amaziah King. Nobody had heard of this movie until it exploded out of South by Southwest, and the immediate reactions were telling. People came out talking about an editing nom, director nom, best actor nom, and actress nom, either lead or supporting, we're not entirely sure yet. There were some slight criticisms about the second half and it trying too many styles, but those aren't alarming enough red flags for me. I'd be a fool not to predict a Matthew McConaughey movie that exploded onto the scene like this one. I think it has a long shot at the win, but I'm more confident these next 4 will get noms. 4. Wicked for Good. I think this has a near zero shot at winning, but an extremely high shot at getting a nom. The first wasn't in the top 3 last year, but took home so many nominations. I can see this being similar to Dune 2, recognizing some of the best elements, but the Academy will be a little tired of it. Sequels don't win Best Picture. Wicked isn't going to be the one to do it. 3. The untitled Kathryn Bigelow movie. This is my current dark horse. I don't see many people going all in on this movie, but I am confident here. When we get a first look at this, it will start to flood predictions, but everyone is hesitant to touch this right now. Why am I so confident? A couple of reasons. Kathryn Bigelow is a nice name to have, as are Idris Elba, Rebecca Ferguson, and Greta Lee. These are great people to be attached to a movie. It's said to be a tense political thriller, which means it could come with screenplay, editing, and cinematography noms easily. The final point is, I see this as Netflix's biggest contender. Unless they pick up another movie, this is the one that will get the Netflix machine behind it, which has proven to be very effective at getting movies with sour reactions to have big award seasons. Imagine what they could do with a good one. If I was feeling extra bold, I'd predict this for the win. 2. One Battle After Another from Paul Thomas Anderson. Does PTA miss? Can he? Does Leo miss? I just don't see a world in which the PTA Leo movie isn't a major awards player. It would have to be a massive bomb with audiences and critics, and I can't make that call. There isn't anything that gives me the indication. I'm 50-50 on predicting Leo for lead. I can see him getting in if he wants it, but I think he doesn't care at this point in his career, and will spend most of his time on the campaign trail hyping up a co-star like he did with Lily Gladstone. My prediction to win Best Picture at this point is Marty Supreme from Josh Safdie. Recently, the Oscars have awarded movies driven by auteurs who have a legacy of work, and Safdie feels like he fits the bill. He feels similar to Sean Baker. Not quite on the level of Nolan, but in the same archetype. He has a style like the Daniels. It might be recency bias, but that's what I'm seeing, and that's what I'm sticking with. On top of that, Timothée Chalamet is starring. He alone can carry a movie through award season, and is reason enough to talk about a movie maybe getting a nom. But this movie is simply the one that stands out the most at the current moment. Do you think I'm terribly off base here? Let me know by leaving a comment. Like and subscribe while you are at it. It would help me out greatly. Thanks for watching.